Ranking Member Raskin, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss my work as special counsel. I love my country and believe deeply in the core principles upon which it was founded. For nearly 3 decades, I've served as a career prosecutor in both Republican and Democratic administrations. I've handled cases ranging from domestic assault and gang violence to public corruption and election crimes across the United States, and I've prosecuted war crimes overseas. I am not a politician, and I have no partisan loyalties. My career has been dedicated to serving our country by upholding the rule of law. Throughout my public service, my approach has always been the same: follow the facts and the law without fear or favor. Experienced prosecutors know that specific case outcomes are beyond our control. Our responsibility is to do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. These principles have guided me through my career, including as special counsel. I'm proud of the work my team did, and I appreciate the opportunity to appear here today to correct false and misleading narratives about our work. During my tenure as special counsel, we followed Justice Department policies, we observed legal requirements, and took actions based on the facts and the law. I made my decisions without regard to President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election. President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power. After leaving office in January of 21, President Trump illegally kept classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago social club and repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents. Highly sensitive national security information was held in a ballroom and a bathroom. As I testify before the committee today, I want to be clear. I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did. To have done otherwise on the facts of these cases would have been to shirk my duties as a prosecutor and as a public servant, of which I had no intention of doing. I remain grateful for the counsel, judgment, and advice of my team. President Trump has sought to seek revenge against career prosecutors, FBI agents, and support staff simply for having worked on these cases. To vilify and seek retribution against these people is wrong. Those dedicated public servants are the best of us, and it has been a privilege to serve with them. After nearly 30 years of public service, including in international settings, I have seen how the rule of law can erode. My fear is that we have seen the rule of law function in our country for so long that many of us have come to take it for granted. The rule of law is not self-executing. It depends on our collective commitment to apply it. It requires dedicated service on behalf of others, especially when that service is difficult and comes with costs. Our willingness to pay those costs is what tests and defines our commitment to the rule of law and to this wonderful country.
Good afternoon. This is Ronnie G. Now, Jack Smith just testified today that Donald Trump is no good. That Donald Trump is unfit to be in the White House. Donald Trump is a criminal. He was twice impeached when he was president of the United States for the first time. He's been convicted of 34 felonies. Convicted. He's been convicted of sexual assault in a department store where he went into the dressing room that Eugene Carroll was changing her clothes, and he broke up in there and he pinned her against the wall and he inserted his finger inside of her. He was convicted for it, and they told him he got to pay $5 million. As soon as he walked out the courtroom, he defamed her name. And she sued him a second time, where they gave her like $85 million. So he owed Eugene Carroll right now for what he did in that dressing room. He owed her over $150 million right now. He done filed in his company bankruptcy 6 times. His company have been convicted of fraud. And you hypocrites, and you no good Republicans, you up there, Jim Jordan them, defending the criminal. And instead of defending Jack Smith by his record, 30 years, this man ain't never been disciplined in any kind of way. Other countries have wanted him to come in there to help prosecute gangs. This man, Jack Smith, is above reproach. I might show you the difference between somebody that call themselves a Christian and somebody acting like they believe in Jesus than someone that do. I believe that I do. And I just saw Jack Smith live today. And I'm going to tell you right now on Facebook Live, I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. Let me tell you what the Bible said. I'm sick and tired of these so-called Christians always talking about don't judge nobody. You know why? Because the same one that said don't judge nobody, they are the same one that doing the same thing. Fornicating, commit adultery, lying, and murdering people's character like you murdering Jack Smith and Jack Smith family. You acting like Jack Smith is not in America. You acting like Jack Smith don't have a wife. You acting like Jack Smith don't have children. You don't care nothing about Jack Smith. Just because Jack Smith went after your God. And you're going to have people in the House of Representatives, the one that wrote the Constitution, the one that wrote the laws, is sitting up there in the chamber breaking the laws. And the Christian folk ain't doing nothing. They weak. That's how come we right here. Because too many people is pretending like they believe in Jesus when they know they lying. See, that's what a real Christian can do. See, when you try to live your life Christ-like, when you try to walk like Christ, like Paul said in 1 Corinthians 11, imitate me as I imitate Christ. So Paul is gone now, and Jesus forever liveth. So my job is to imitate Christ. And what the Republican did with Jack Smith are honest, and I believe God protected. They're not going to be able to touch him because God's with him. He did his job, and he done did that job for over 30 years. And the Republicans choose a sex assaulter. Somebody that filed bankruptcy 6 times. Somebody that was twice impeached. Somebody that companies have been convicted of fraud. Somebody that been convicted of 34 felonies. You're going to take Jack Smith's name and put it through the mud for a no good man like Donald Trump. You know right now the church is falling. Not only is the church falling, it's falling hard. You got preachers worshiping this man. You got preachers bowing the knee to the devil. Then you know the church is supposed to be a defender of the faith. The church job is to defend Christ's doctrine. That's what the church job is. That's what my job is, to defend Christ's doctrine. And the way that the Christian folks and the church folk sit back and let them Republicans in the House of Representatives sit up there and try to destroy Jack Smith, a man that got a family just like you. The man that's highly respected around the world. And you gonna back a con man and a liar that's destroying this country because of your prejudice. I don't want to hear your lies, so-called church people. I don't want to hear it. The proof is already in the pudding. Jesus told me that I judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And today, that tree did not bring forth good fruit. To take an evil traitor over a prosecutor that been in his job but without any kind of write-up for almost 30 years. And you gonna listen to them liars like Jim Jordan. The same Jim Jordan that was a wrestling coach at Ohio State. When Sandusky and them at Ohio State was molesting the boys in the locker room, and Jim Jordan saw it. And Jim Jordan did nothing. Same one. Mike Johnson is the same guy that said Jesus came to him personally and told him how he need to write that big old beautiful bill where you're going to cut free lunches for low-income kids. You're going to try to get rid of the Department of Education. You're going to cut Medicaid so elderly people that can't take care of themselves no more and their family that can't take care of them, you're going to cut that. Just throw them out in the street and let them die. We at war. We at war, good against evil. We at war against powers and principality in high places. Like the president, the vice president, the speaker of the House, the majority leader in the Senate, and the chief justice in the United States Supreme Court. The Attorney General, the DOJ, the Defense Department, Homeland Security, the FBI, the CIA. You put all that in the hands of the devil to help destroy good people and righteous people and just people. Do you hear the church crying? Do you hear Abel's blood crying out from the ground even though he was dead? That's what it says in Genesis. God said he heard Abel's blood crying out from the ground. That's where we're at right now. The prejudiced white people decided on their own that evil is good and good is evil. And the church have failed. The only way that they could have achieved that kind of power to take the White House, the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the only way that is the church had to stood up. The same church that brought us through slavery. The same church that brought us through Jim Crow. The same church that brought us through the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. The same church is gone. This church is lukewarm. If the devil come, he with the devil. If Christ come, he go there with Christ. He's straddling the fence. The Bible said, you don't straddle the fence. The Bible said, you got to make a choice between good and evil. You got to make a choice, buddy. This ain't no showtime. This ain't no game. You are destroying your kids, your grandchildren, your great-grand. You don't care nothing about them. All you care about is that you white and you're better than somebody else. Forget about truth and honesty and integrity and right and wrong. I know you done crossed the line. You're gonna fight to the death now. That's what the Bible said, that you need to be always ready. You see the time that we in. You see how the church, I'm talking about the preachers and the deacons, you see how them set back and just let evil went wild. And they part of it. They part of it. Do you know that there's preachers in the military? They don't mind going and blowing people's head off for the military. You know deacons in the military? They go to war just like everybody else. When they call the duty, they got to go. They got to go fight. But here in America, because of racism, because of prejudice, because they don't want to be the minority, what do black and brown people got to do with that? Your race is totally in the hands of God. Can't no man, woman, or child determine what race they can be. That is in power of God. Ain't no black man, a brown man, made black and brown people 90% of the world's population. And the Caucasian race less than 10. God did that. Because God was not going to let that evil race prosper. Now the table is turned. Well, God made black and brown people 90% of the world's population. Is the white people going to go all the way extinct? I don't know. They may go down to 5% or 4%. I don't know if they'll ever go all the way extinct. See, the white people, when they fighting against justice, when they get fighting against freedom, when they fighting against righteousness, they fighting against God. And if they fighting against God, they fighting against Christ. If they fighting against Christ, they fighting against me. I believe Jack Smith. He ain't black, he white. I believe that everything that Jack Smith is saying is the truth. I believe that Jack Smith had a solid case against President Trump. I believe that Jack Smith go by the book. James B. Raskin asked him and said he ain't never been wrote up or disciplined in any kind of way in 30 years. That's why Jack Smith can sit in that chair right there, because God put him there. Because Jack Smith is above reproach. The Republican ought to be shameful to try to destroy this man's integrity. My, have we fallen. Not me. This is how somebody talk when they really believe that God is. That God is going to reward them that diligently seeks after him. I can't believe the little prejudiced white people, they love the Constitution. They love the rules. 30 years ago, Jack Smith, that's before Barack Obama. That's before Bill Clinton. That's before Joe Biden. Jack Smith was in office with his integrity. American people, I know if you're American Republican, I know you don't have no shame because you don't have no conscience. You don't have no faith because you know the Bible tells you whatever goes around is going to come around. Whatever measure you meet, it shall be measured back to you again. The chicken, like Malcolm X said, the chicken has come home to roost. No matter what you try, no matter how many brown people you try to throw out this country, you're never going to be the majority again. You're never going to be able to hold people in slavery and rape their women and keep them from educations and keep them from the rights to vote and to bear arms and to protest the government. That's never going to happen again. But because of your evil, a lot of young folks of every race is going to die 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All those people is going to die. See, I'm 68. I know I'm not going to go to battle. So I'm not fighting for me, because I'm past that age. But just think about when your kids start dying in the street. When your grandchildren start and your granddaughter start dying in the street. When your great-grandchildren gonna die in the street. The black and brown people ain't gonna never go back. There's only one way that you can do what you did to us in the past. You gotta kill us first. You gotta give us liberty. Or you gotta give us death. We ain't messing with nobody. We minding our own business. Asian people is minding their own business. Arab people is minding their own business. The Somalians and the Venezuelans and the Mexicans, they minding their own business. The Native Americans, they minding their own business. Only one race in America is not minding their own business. The Constitution gives them the same rights as everybody else. You can live wherever you can afford. You can buy whatever kind of car you want. You can bear arms just like everybody else, but no, you want to be better than everybody else. You want to be more than everybody. You want to be God-like, that you pick your own Messiah. Instead of Jesus, you chose President Trump as your Messiah. The devil is a liar. I don't feel no mercy for him. I'm sorry. When I saw the way the Republican treated Jack Smith, you do realize that Jack Smith was appointed by the Attorney General. Just like what Pam Bondi is right now. President Biden never interfered with Jack Smith's case and how he prosecuted his case. The Attorney General approved everything that Jack Smith did. The judges that sit above him, they prove everything that he did. And these lying-ass Republicans and so-called Christians just sitting back, letting all these lies act like they truth. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to speak the truth, and I'm going to stand up for Christ, even if it sends me to the grave. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. The truth is the truth, and it's life. The Republican is lying on Jack Smith. They lied on Joe Biden. They lied on Kamala Harris. Ain't none of these people never going to get convicted of no crime. Because Donald Trump just made all it up. He only have a concept or something. He got dementia. Shame on you, America. Shame on you, white America. Yeah, there's some black MAGA. There's some Mexican MAGA. There's some Asian MAGAs. There's some Arab MAGA. There's some Native American. But the majority of them is white. Thank you.